Welcome back to Marketing Champions here on Daily Ad Brief. I'm Howard Walpuff, your host. Again, we're talking about marketing with marketers from around the country. Today, we're talking with Lee Odden of TopRank Marketing from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Lee, welcome to the conversation today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Howard. Great to be here.
It is our pleasure, and I'm excited to hear more about you. I know you've been involved in marketing for quite a while. Why don't you share with us a little bit of how you got started?
I got started before Google and doing website sales, website development. And then people asked, how can we get traffic to these websites that you sold and made for us? And started learning about search engine optimization way back in the day. And then, of course, when Google came on the scene, that made things even more interesting. And co-founded TopRank Marketing in 2001 with my current business partner.
Yeah, I love talking to people who have those experiences from the 90s and early 2000s about what developing websites and developing traffic were at the time, because it's a different language than people are speaking now. But I guess, what was your focus when you started TopRank, and how have you evolved over the course of time with what you specialize with your clients?
That's a great question, given that we're 20 years old this year. We have absolutely changed and transformed, and starting as a dual purpose agency, SEO and PR, unlikely bedfellows, way back in 2001, and started to do a lot more content because there wasn't a lot to optimize with these websites. So really got into the content development business, social media, obviously. And then in the last 8 years or so, we've really focused on the intersection of content that is optimized for findability, but also optimized for credibility. And that means working with industry influencers. In our case, we're working specifically with B2B companies.
And B2B, it's very important to have the right content that people get a sense of who you are and how you can help them, and if you're speaking the same language. So is there anything in particular that you focus on with your clients, or what type of content that they should be providing?
Yeah, well, really it comes down to having some understanding of what it is that's going to motivate the customer. We look at some data to understand what are the customer preferences in terms of information discovery, their preferences for content consumption, and then the triggers that motivate action. And that then can manifest into, a content architecture that is, in B2B, of course, things like white papers and case studies, reports and that sort of thing from a thought leadership standpoint are very important. But then we get in middle of funnel, we start looking at more engaging content like video. Video is probably the hottest area in B2B, live stream video, recorded video, webinars, virtual events, that sort of thing. And we've also gotten into, content even in virtual reality. We've experimented a little bit with that, but we don't do a whole lot with that right now. So really text, audio, podcasts, video, it really comes down to what's important for the customer. What are their preferences in terms of discovery, consumption, and action?
That always ends up being the key. What kind of conversation you're having with the customer, how they're responding, and what is it that they're really absorbing so they keep coming back for more. And that concept is not going to change in theory, but some of the specifics are. So are there things you see coming up the pike in the next couple of years of being things that companies should be focusing on within their marketing, and specifically the content they're providing?
Well, with our emphasis on B2B, one thing I can say is that, the pandemic and COVID have rapidly digitally transformed the industry, and that has affected marketing as well. And, overnight, companies are realizing that their buyers are digital first, meaning that they are using digital channels to do that discovery and consumption and taking action. Commerce and B2B is probably one of the hottest growth areas. So over the next couple of years, B2B companies, B2B marketers are going to have to pay attention to those changing focuses on digital media. Another area of focus, I think, is that, there's a greater expectation amongst buyers to be involved, meaning that, they don't want to just find what they're looking for through search or see a great ad or whatever. A lot of them want to actually be involved in making the content. I know it sounds weird, but it's kind of like user-generated content, employee advocacy on steroids. And so there's this idea of participative marketing, collaborative marketing, where B2B brands start to tap the expertise inside their company more they tap the expertise of their community of customers more, and they tap the expertise of industry experts even more to create the kind of content that people actually want to consume, as opposed to just formal advertising brand messaging, which virtually nobody trusts anymore anyway.
These are very important pieces of the conversation because they connect so well with the prospects that are out there, and especially now with some of the things that have been developing, having those endorsements from your employees sharing these great things that are happening can really go much farther than perhaps they have in the past. So I appreciate you sharing that as a vision, but also thank you for sharing everything that you're doing right now for your clients and your stories. So thank you for joining us today.
Great. Thanks for having me.
And thank you all for joining us as well. Lee, what he's doing at TopRank Marketing is really valuable to his clients, and there really is great connectivity with how they're reaching their audience. So you can learn more at dailyadbrief.com. But go out, have a great rest of today, and we'll see you next time on Marketing Champions.